All right, welcome back everybody. This week's going to be a super fun one. We all know this song, but I found some little Easter eggs. There's some things in here when I was listening to this that I never had heard before. And I also wanted to spend a good amount of time talking about the genius of not only Keith Richards playing in here, but of Ronnie Wood. I don't think Ronnie Wood gets any love on this song because you sort of just hear the open G tuning riff, but the stuff that Ronnie's playing complements it so good, and if it's not there, you miss it. So I want to give that some love and attention, all right? So this is going to be Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones from their 1981 Tattoo You album. Such a great album, and it's one that I actually bought when I was a kid, when it was new. Still have it, although I don't own a record player to play it on, but such a just piece of greatness, as you know. And I'm going to take you through all the rhythm guitar parts. I'm going to teach you Keith's parts and Ronnie's parts and the overdub lead on there too. So if this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, jump down right now and click subscribe and ring the bell. The bell will let you know when I drop new content, which I do every single week. All my lessons have chapters in them, so you can jump right to the part of the lesson that you want to see and bypass what you don't. And if you're looking for ways to support the channel, I appreciate that. There's thanks, just like throwing a tip in the tip jar. Or even better, you can join my Patreon page where I've got chord charts and tabs for all the lessons that I do on YouTube, just like this one. Links in the description, so check it out. Okay, so Start Me Up. I think a lot of you probably know a good part of this song already. It's a favorite, right? I know you know most of it, kind of thing. But I gave it a really, really good hard listen and some isolated tracks, and I really wanted to see what Ronnie Wood was doing on there, because Keith's guitar is sort of obvious and it's sort of dominant. And afterwards, I have a great appreciation for what Ronnie added to the song with his little stuff that he does that complements what Keith is doing. So I'm going to give that some love and attention. So we're going to learn all that. Okay, so let's start with Keith's rhythm guitar, okay? So I know you know that Keith played a lot in open G, and this song is one of those open G songs. And when you're tuning to open G, it just means that you're tuning down your first string to a D, you're leaving your B string, your second string alone, leaving your third string alone, leaving your fourth string alone, and you take your A string and tune that down to a G. Right? And if you have a sixth string, tune that down to a D. I know Keith took his sixth string off. Everybody calm down. I'm not going to take my sixth string off because it's a pain in the butt. So, deal. So I've tuned this down to a D, but I'm really not playing that string. Okay, so that leaves your tuning sounding like that. All the details of my signal chain is going to be in the description below, but let's just get to it. So that means that your open G chords straight across the fret is an open chord, an open major chord. So this song is in the key of F, and the main riff that he's playing is starting from a C, and it's hammering on to an F. You're taking a straight across C at the 5th fret, and you're hammering on 1 fret up on your 2nd string and 2 frets up on your 4th string to make an F with that C still ringing in the bass. You sound like Keith Richards already, right? You slide it down 2 frets. Right, so that's kind of the main piece that he's doing throughout the song, right? Sometimes he's just doing a chug-a-chug off those two, A and the 5th and 4th string. And you can sort of pull off every once in a while and get those, you can sort of catch those open G notes, right? Sometimes you hit that note, and sometimes you don't. That's all I can say. Just play loose with it. Sometimes do that, sometimes do that, and sometimes just do this. But that's really it for the main sort of riff, chorus, verse, whatever you want to call it. All day long, right? So then make a grown man, or don't make a grown man cry. That's just moving again from a C to an F. But you're just coming up here straight across to your 10th fret to get your F there. So just like we were doing C to F, we're still doing C to F. It's just a different F energy. That sounded funny. Right? And then he does, every once in a while he sneaks that in. So you're dropping down 2 frets to the 8th fret and then landing on 5th. And then we're going to hang on C. Sneak one of those in before you're right. So on that part, yeah, sort of sounds like Can't You Hear Me Knocking? That kind of energy going on. And that's really it for Keith's parts throughout the whole song. It's the same. It's the same all throughout. And there's just little things that he does, variations on each of those, but just playing very loose. I know you know how Keith is playing. He just finds sort of a rhythm riff, a groove, and like a true musician, you just sort of go for it. It's not like a clearly defined part that you're going to 100% replicate all the way every single time. Sometimes you did that. Sometimes you don't. Yeah, so there's that. When you get to the outro, he does more of the same, but he's just, like I said, he's playing around with it a little more. He does this push, this early. He hits the thing early. That's all he's doing while the little lead on the outro is going on. That's it for Keith's parts. Like literally, that is it. That's all of them. But just such a great sound, and he gets so much out of it. And complementing that is what Ronnie Wood is doing on rhythm guitar. And I want to spend some time on his parts. So let's talk about that now. Yeah, like I said, there's another guitar player in the Rolling Stones. His name is Ronnie Wood. And I don't think he gets a lot of love and attention. And on this song, I just love the little parts that he plays that complements Keith's main rhythm riff, right? So Ronnie's in standard tuning for this, I believe. And I'm playing a Strat just because I'm playing a Strat. I have no idea what guitar he played on the record. So, but his parts is great. So if you think about what Keith is doing, he's based off of that whole thing. We've got a C triad, and you're hammering onto an F. Okay, so on the very opening riff, what Ronnie's doing is playing a little sort of bass, not bass, but bass strings line that carries you down to the F, like that, right? So Keith is going. That's Ronnie coming in. And if you want to think about it in terms of chords, think about your F chord. You're sort of holding that C note down on the on the 3rd fret on your A string with that open E, hammering onto 1 on your 6th string. Right? And that makes sense because Keith is, this is just a lower octave of that, and it's complementing it. So sometimes he's playing that. And then he comes up to your B flat. Sometimes he's doing an open. A lot of times he's just playing straight. And a lot of times he's playing the rock and roll chug. You're just mixing all of that together. Right? So that's one version of what he's doing. The other version that he does a lot is that he takes your F chord and he's hammering on the 3rd string. He's open on the 3rd string and he hammers on 2. You hear that a lot. And that's the same thing as what Keith's doing here. Just different string tonalities. Playing it that way. If you wanted to carry it all the way to your 1st string, you could do, and that really is those triads that Keith is playing, right? But I don't hear that high string a lot with Ronnie's doing. So the two things that he's doing the most is that and he's having fun with the rhythm too. He's not doing it the same every single time. The third thing he does on that B flat is, and this is later on in the song, he does that sort of same hammer on from your suspended and hammers on the major third. Right? So you're going. Doesn't do it every time. And then when he gets to the chorus, or whatever this part is, grown man cry part. When I watch him do it live, he sort of starts down here because that's where he was. Comes up here to your F on your 8th fret. And then from here on, he's staying in this position. Does that a lot. And he's not doing exactly the same thing that Keith's doing. It's the magic of the interplay of both of them. But you can see they're both sort of playing around that same riff. Ronnie tends to be doing it a little more, maybe. Right? And so all those little counterpoints that he does. On the outro, it's the same thing. You ever hear that one? That's Ronnie doing that at the end. So that little F during the outro part that sneaks in there. He's playing in between what Keith's doing. Yeah. So anyway, I just want to call attention to Ronnie's parts on that song. I love all of that goodness, and the interplay between both of them is really a big part of the magic instrumentally of the song, in my humble opinion. Now, there's two parts where there's an overdubbed lead guitar. And it's obvious that overdub lead guitar sounds like a telly to me. And it sounds like a telly middle position, by the way, even though I don't have the humbucker. Maybe he played the one with his humbucker, maybe he didn't. But I think he probably did. But the tone is that sort of middle position telly tone. And I'm going to show you that part here in the open G tuning. All right, it's that part right at 1 minute 22, I believe, into the song. And it's just right at the beginning of the verse. You rough it, I rough it up. And you're just hammering on twice. And then he follows that with a little Chuck Berry riff. Yep, so it's just bending at the, what is that, 8th fret? That whole Chuck Berry thing. You're bending in unison to your B string. And actually, this is the part that gives away that I think he actually played this overdub part in an open F tuning. Open F tuning, yes. I know you're jumping out of your chair saying no, but following this, I'm going to give you the evidence and show you why that's the case. He hits a flub note, and that flub note you can't get at this tuning. So, but you can get it in open F, and it makes sense. Okay, so that again, and you're back into your grown man cry part. So, all that again. And you're off to the races now. Yeah, like I mentioned, I suspect that the overdub lead guitar was actually tuned to open F. And what's open F? Open F is the same tuning that we just did with open G. We're just taking it down 2 more frets or 1 whole step from there. So now my low note is C instead of D, right? And it's, so that's an open F chord. Right? We were in G, which sounded like this. Anyway, why am I saying that? I know a bunch of you are jumping out of your chairs being like, no, Keith only plays in open G. And you just, hold on. It sounds very much like a Telecaster. I very much believe it's Keith. Very much believe it's a middle position telly. He probably has the humbucker going, but it's that sort of sonically. So why am I talking about F? All right, so I'll get to that in just 1 second. So listen to the isolated Keith guitar just on that little spot right here. So did you catch that? There's this flub note. There's this quote unquote mistake or flub note in there, and that note is an F. And it's like a popped open, it's like an open 3rd string feel or sound. But it's an F note. And you can't get that if you're in your open G tuning and you're doing that little riff. There's no place to hit that if you're in that. So that's why I think just this overdub guitar is an F, right? So that part all the way through then becomes exactly the same as we learned in G. It's just 2 frets up, but here's this little mistake note, right? Did you catch that? It's like so loud on the record. And then it's gone. Like that's the whole part in open F, right? Okay, the other part where he's playing little lead guitar is on the outro. And so the outro here in the open G tuning I'm going to show you, but again, I suspect he could have been playing that in an open F. But here's how this opens. You're going to bend up on the fifth fret on your fourth string, your G note, and you're going to grab the third fret on your first string, which I believe is an F note, I think. And it's going to sound like this. All right, and it's not a full bend. You're not doing a full major bend, you're just bending up a little bit. And then bringing it back down again. All right, and then you're off, and the little lead part that he's playing is off of just playing off of the, riffing off of the F, but and all these parts are very, very convenient for this open tuning, so I believe that it's Keith doing these parts, right? Here's the first little riff. Second one. There's the second one. And then he slides up here to F here. Straight across. And then he closes it out down here with sort of more old-time rock and roll Chuck Berry. Your normal, where you bend up and you hit your double stop, right? You have your first string tuned down. So now to get that F, you have to put your pinky on the third fret. So that riff that he plays goes like this. And then it's all sort of double stop stuff. Right? So that whole lead in context sounds like this. All right, so that's how you do that in open G. And if we carry through our open F theory, our open F overdub lead guitar theory, it's very possible that that outro riff was played in that open F tuning. And so same part, we're just sliding everything up 2 frets to do what we do, right? Starting with this. And that, my friends, was Start Me Up by the Rolling Stones, and I hope you learned something new today. So if this is something you like and you haven't done so yet, jump down right now, click subscribe, come on, do it. Give it a like if you liked it, and ring the bell, because the bell will let you know when I drop new content. I do that every week. Hey, leave a note in the comments, let me know what you thought about this, and if there's another song you want me to take on and do something similar, let me know what that is. But until next week, take care, everybody.